Hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. This is part 2 in my Merry Christmas embroidery designed pillow. If you want to see part 1, that's where I show you how to use your embroidery machine to print out this design. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to put piping and a ruffle on it. So let's get started. I advise you to use a square ruler if you have one that is at least 12.5 inches square, because it's so much easier to cut your fabric down exactly to the size that you want it. I want 2 inches of fabric to extend out beyond the design itself. So I've moved my grid lines around to where I have about 2 inches all the way around. Then on this edge here, I've put little sticky notes. You can put tape if you want, and then one over here. And that will help me to align everything up. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this edge and this edge. So 2 edges. Cut this one off, then I'm going to turn and go down this edge. Now take your fabric and take this corner and bring it over here. So turn it. Now, the side where your little notes or tape is, you're going to place it on this edge and this edge here. So line it up. Always take your time doing this. Once you've got it all lined up, then cut here and here. Now, whatever size yours comes out to, you want to cut a piece of fabric the exact same size as this, and that fabric will be used on the back of the pillow. This is the piping that I'm going to put on the pillow. Now, if you don't want to put the piping on, you can just skip this step. But if you know how to make piping, I'm making it out of this bright green, so you want to coordinate your fabrics together. If you would like to make piping and you don't know how, then check below your YouTube screen to go to the tutorial on how to make your piping. Now there's 2 different ways you can put this on. I'm putting it on the front side of my embroidery design, on this fabric here. Where the cording is, that's going more towards the center of the pillow, and this raw edge here is going on the raw edge of your fabric. I made my piping on a serger, but you can make it on a regular sewing machine. I'm pinning it down, but you don't have to. You can just keep it against your raw edge and stitch as you go. But if you want to pin it down, this is how I pinned it. When you go around the corners, you're going to have to kind of curve it a little bit. And one of the things that you want to do, let me get this pin out of the way, is when you get to a corner, just do a couple of clips so that it will lay around that corner just a little easier, and continue pinning it around all of your edges. Now, as far as bringing your ends together, if you have a lot of experience in sewing, you can take some of this thread off the raw edge here, open the stitches that holds the piping together, stitch the ends of your fabric together, then close it back up again. Now there's a lot of steps involved in that, and I recommend you doing that if you're very experienced at sewing. But here's another way of bringing the ends together, is pull one end out just a little bit more than the other. Pull it out like this, and then bring the other one there, overlap it just slightly, and curve it out towards the edge like this. Then you're not going to stitch right up against the cording. We're just sort of basting it on right now to hold it in place. So you can use a basting stitch to maybe stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the edge all the way around. Here is the ruffle that I am using, and I made my ruffle on a serger. You can also make your ruffle on your sewing machine. If you're not sure how to do that, then check below your YouTube screen on how to make ruffles either on your sewing machine or a serger. This is just a single layer of fabric, so on one side you're going to see the back side of the fabric. On the outer edge, I folded my edges over 1/4 inch twice, and I pressed the edges. Then I stitched close to this edge right along here. Then go ahead and you're going to pin it on the fabric that's on the back of your pillow. So this is the fabric for my back. Because I don't want this part to show looking at the pillow from the front, it's important that this ruffle, you put the back of the ruffle against the front side of the fabric that's on the back. That way, when everything's stitched together, it's going to face the right direction. Then go ahead and pin it around all of your edges. And I like to squeeze just a little bit more ruffling near the corner area. That way it's going to lay a lot nicer when you go around the corners. If you don't have a little extra gathering in there, it may pull in a funny direction. Then, once you've got it all pinned around, overlap your two ends and then go over about 1/2 inch and cut the excess off. Then unpin the ruffle a little bit on the pillow and bring the front sides of your ruffle together, and then stitch the ends together close, about 1/2 inch seam. Then take either a zigzag stitch or one of your overcasting stitches and overcast this raw edge right here. Then take it and pin the rest of it down. Then you're going to just do a basting stitch just to hold it all in place, and again stitch it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge all the way around. After you have your ruffle base stitched down, then you want to take this fabric in the corner, and we need to get it out of the way so when we stitch both the front and back sections together, it doesn't get caught in your finished seam. So pull it out away from the corner like this, grab it, and begin to twist it, lifting it up and twisting so you can get as much of it out of that corner as possible. Then once you have it wrapped, then take a pin, and you're going to have the pointed part of the pin facing towards the corner so that later when you go to remove these pins, it's going to be a lot easier and you won't poke yourself. So do that at all 4 corners. Now, once you've got everything base stitched on, then you want to bring the 2 sides together, and you're bringing front sides together. Okay, and then place pins around all the edges. But you're going to leave one area open that you're not going to stitch closed. So I'm going to show you where my opening is going to be, and I'm stitching it here. Now, this is my starting place to begin stitching, but over here is my stop point. So I'm going to put 2 pins, right here. So you're always going to back stitch on each side of your opening. So start here, back stitch, and you're going to stitch about 1/4 inch seam. And when you get down to the corner here, as you're stitching, you want to stop when you're about 1/4 inch away from this edge. Leave your needle down through your fabric, lift up your presser foot, turn your fabric, lower the presser foot, and continue stitching. So do that around all your corners. When you get around to this point right here, and that's my grandson screaming in the background in case you wonder if someone's dying. He's not. Okay. His mother's laughing. All right, so then then you stop here at the 2 pins and then back stitch. I recommend that you use a small zipper foot. it's going to be easier to get up close to your piping. So make sure you move your needle to one side, the side that's closest to your piping, and then you're going to begin stitching. So you want to hug that cording size of your piping while you stitch all the way around. After you have all of your stitching done, then I suggest you trim a little bit off your corners. That's just so that the corners will come out a little bit nicer. Now don't trim too close to your stitches because you don't want it to come apart at the corner. So go around and trim all of your corners. Go through your opening and reach inside and look for those straight pins and pull them out first. And it might take a while to find them. Make sure you don't poke yourself. Okay, I found it, and pull it out. So go around and pull out all your pins. Then begin turning your pillow front side out. So I'm going to use polyfill stuffing to fill the inside of the pillow. And when you get your polyfill stuffing, as you pull it out of the bag, it's kind of in big clumps. So you want to break it up a little bit. Pull it apart in little smaller pieces. This way it's not going to be lumpy and bumpy inside your pillow. Then go through your opening and push it in towards your corners in the very back of the pillow. So push it all in there and work its way back there. And continue filling in your corners, then the back of the pillow, and then move your way forward and then filling in the other two corners. You just have one more step to do, and that's to close up your opening. So you want to make sure you turn those opening edges inside the pillow and then use a ladder stitch to close up your seam. It's a hidden stitch, so if you don't know how to do your ladder stitch, check below your YouTube screen for that really detailed tutorial. It's not a difficult stitch. It's actually a really cool stitch. I like it a lot. I use it to close up all the openings on my pillows. Now here's another one I did that's almost identical to the previous pillow, except I had a little bit larger embroidery design. So you can get really elaborate with these. And let me show you one other pillow. If this is too much for you and you don't want to do all of this, you want to do something really simple, you could put Merry Christmas in the center and select one of the borders like this. And then you could put a fabric border around the edge and of course fabric on the back. And if you wanted to, you could add this rickrack to it. So I do have another video on how to add fabric borders to your designs. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you're interested in other pillow projects, check below your YouTube screen for those video links. Now don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny. See you next time.